Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Royal fans are convinced that football legend David Beckham is on the verge of receiving a knighthood after his appearance at the Buckingham Palace state banquet. David and his wife, Victoria Beckham, were seen hand in hand as they walked through the palace alongside King Charles and Queen Camilla, with around 150 other distinguished guests in attendance. It's believed that David and Victoria were invited to the banquet partly due to David's role as an ambassador for the Qatar World Cup in 2022. Among the buzz of the evening, one fan noted the relatability of Victoria Beckham, commenting on her slightly nervous demeanour in contrast to the regal ambience. Meanwhile, David Beckham was described as looking decidedly to the manner born, regal and handsome. Wet blanket and former royal Paul Burrell said, "We haven't seen David Beckham knighted yet because A, he's not old enough, and B, he hasn't earned his stripes yet, and C, he's still a very commercial world." David Beckham is everywhere. He's sponsoring and commercializing himself. Obviously, this is the end of his career, and once this phase is over, the commercial phase, then he goes back into charitable work because you've seen him with William, you've seen him with the King. He's obviously been fast-tracked for a knighthood, but not just yet, and they're keeping him just dangling for a while because they're waiting to see what happens. I think he is an excellent ambassador, not only for charitable foundations, but for our country. I think he's shown his worth, and I'm expecting it. Of course, it's going to happen. The question is, when? When will the King finally say it's time for David to receive his knighthood? I think he has to put some more work into the King's trust, and I think he'll be seen many more times with the King and William before that honour comes his way. The Times took a long look at the tale of King Charles and Prince Andrew's rocky relationship, saying it reads like a Shakespearean drama with a side of reality TV flair. From the start, the brothers were cast in wildly different moulds, Charles the sensitive intellectual heir and Andrew the robust indulgent spare. Yet their diverging paths have now culminated in a bitter rift that has sunk to new depths, with Charles cutting Andrew off financially. Born when Charles was 11, Andrew was the Queen's favourite, a role cemented by her ability to spend more time with him during his childhood than she had with her eldest son. While Charles struggled through a lonely upbringing punctuated by slipper beatings at Gordonston and a yearning for parental affection, Andrew flourished as the family's golden boy, charming society as the dashing playboy prince. Even Philip called him a natural boss, though that assessment didn't include any glowing references to his intellect. Fast forward to today, and the brothers couldn't be more estranged. The Epstein scandal and Andrew's disastrous attempt at clearing his name during a Newsnight interview was the turning point, while their mother, Queen Elizabeth II, stood by Andrew, accompanying him on rides and to church. Charles clearly sees his brother as a liability to the institution he now leads. The fallout has been brutal. Andrew has been stripped of his military titles, royal duties, and now financial support. The final battleground, Royal Lodge, Andrew's Windsor estate, leased on highly favourable terms but increasingly expensive to maintain. Charles has been pushing for Andrew to downsize to Frogmore Cottage, ironically the Sussex's former residence, adding a sting of poetic justice to the drama. Andrew, however, has reportedly scrounged up funds to stave off eviction for now, but his financial future remains precarious. Their differences have long been stark. Charles, the thoughtful conservationist and amateur watercolourist, versus Andrew, the brash helicopter-hopping party prince. One agonises over humanity's ecological fate. The other once used public funds to charter a flight for lunch with friends. Yet until Andrew's public disgrace, their paths rarely collided. Now Charles seems determined to relegate his brother to the background of royal life, leaving Andrew clinging to the remnants of his former privileges. As Christmas at Sandringham approaches, a family gathering might offer an opportunity for reconciliation, but don't hold your breath. For Charles, the institution of the monarchy comes first, and there's little room for forgiveness when the stakes are the crown's reputation. Shakespeare himself would struggle to script a more tangled royal rivalry. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are reportedly making frequent visits to their father, Prince Andrew, at Royal Lodge, Windsor, often accompanied by their children to lift his spirits. According to Hello magazine, the sisters have been taking turns, spending weekends with Andrew, a marked increase in their time spent with him in recent years. A source shared, "The girls take their grandchildren to visit him most weekends. They are quite close to their father. They seem to be quite protective towards him. The visits include family bonding activities, with Andrew teaching Beatrice's 3-year-old daughter Sienna to ride horses, an echo of the late Queen Elizabeth's passion for equestrian pursuits." Palace Intrigue will be right back. While we all wait for Meghan Markle's return to podcasting, Denmark's Crown Princess Mary is the latest royal to step into audio production. Announcing her new podcast in an Instagram post featuring her sporting earphones and holding a phone, the 52-year-old royal, who's already an avid listener, shared, "I often listen when I have to move from one place to another. Some days I'm in the mood for entertainment, and other days I use it to gain knowledge and new input." Produced by her Mary Foundation, the podcast's first 3 episodes tackle the subject of youth loneliness, aiming to spark awareness and conversation about the issue. Mary isn't the only royal making waves in the podcasting sphere. Queen Camilla of Britain hosts the Queen's Reading Room podcast, where she dives into the world of literature. It seems Prince William has found himself caught in a clash of cultures. On one side, the tradition of stiff upper lip royal competition, and on the other, the cutthroat world of Middleton family game nights. Royal biographer Christopher Anderson has revealed that the late Queen Elizabeth loved a good contest, from Ascot to the Highland Games, while her descendants have shown their mettle in pursuits like polo, equestrian sports, and even carriage driving. But apparently none of this quite prepared William for the Middleton's clan's ruthless approach to post-dinner card games. The game in question, Racing Demon, a fast-paced card game that has the Middletons vying for victory as if a crown were at stake. Kate's younger brother James spilled the tea on the Dog podcast, recounting how William often finds clever ways to opt out. According to James, Ella, his late dog, was a particularly convenient excuse. "Does Ella need a walk?" William would ask before the cards even hit the table, much to the knowing amusement of the Middleton siblings. James recalls that William, despite his royal military training and inherent competitive streak, seems perfectly content to lose early and escape the chaos. After his quick defeat, he'd retreat to cuddle Ella, who in William's eyes was likely the real winner of the evening. Now, with Ella no longer around, one can only imagine William's new strategies to dodge Middleton game night intensity. Perhaps he'll suddenly remember some urgent paperwork for the Duchy of Cornwall. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or the app of your choice, and write us a review or give us 5 stars if you're enjoying the show. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.